be afraid. Be very afraid. Be very, 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 very afraid.
It's showtime.
Hello, and welcome to Video Scaries, a series where we look at the various bits and pieces of video that scared us senseless as kids. We'll see if they can still scare us now, all these years later. And for this episode, we're taking a look at one of the most famous and nightmare-fuelish public information films ever made. We're looking at Lonely Water from 1973. The 1970s were a very extravagant time in terms of culture, and this seemed to stretch across to the UK's public information films. Sure, we've seen some on this channel that seem relatively tame for the most part, such as 1978's Play Safe. However, if we Brits are good at anything, it's at terrifying children without the overt use of the grotesque or shocking. And that leads us nicely to a film that millions of people remember for not only giving them nightmares, but from keeping them away from the water in general. I'll let you have a little watch.
I am the spirit of dark and lonely water, ready to trap the unwary, the show-off, the fool. And this is the kind of place you'd expect to find me.
Come on, come on.
But no one expects to find me here. It seems too ordinary. But that pool is deep. The boy is showing off. The bank is slippery. The show-offs are easy, but the unwary ones are easier still. This branch is weak, rotten. It'll never take his weight. Only a fool would ignore this, but there's one born every minute. Under the water there are traps, old cars, bedsteads, weeds, hidden depths. It's the perfect place for an accident.
Oh, look, there's someone in the water. Quick, use that big stick to get him out.
Sensible children. I have no power over them.
Oi, mate, that's a stupid place to swim. Hey, go over and get that thing to wrap him in. You don't have to feel cold, mate. How long was you in there? Ew, what thing?
I'll be back.
You still here? Ah, good. So where on earth do we begin with this one? Well, first we should probably address the voice. I'm sure some of you definitely recognise the voice of the spirit, and it is none other than veteran actor Donald Pleasence. Many nowadays know him as being one of the central characters from the Halloween franchise, but he's also starred in other notable works such as Fantastic Voyage, Escape from New York, and as the central villain Blofeld in the James Bond film You Only Live Twice. Pleasence utilises all his acting prowess for this voiceover, instantly instilling a dark and menacing tone that perfectly fits the character of the spirit, who's eerily dressed in a black robe. Faceless, mysterious, dangerous. The examples we see of the spirit claiming his victims, such as a child showing off, a child climbing on a rotten branch, and a child blatantly ignoring a no swimming sign. I like the little quip he makes about fools.
Only a fool would ignore this. But there's one born every minute.
Nice little dig at the children there, eh, Donald? Now, I wasn't around in the 1970s, but I think it's the combination of the shrouded figure, the voiceover from Pleasence, and the horrific scenarios in which these children are falling victim to water that do seem also quite ordinary, that make this stand out for those who saw it. And compared to other films of the time that were either aimed at younger children or had a generally light tone, this one is grim, dark, and sincere. It can be a bit on the nose sometimes, like with lines such as this.
Sensible children. I have no power over them.
Like, yes, okay, fine, stay sensible and you won't get hurt, we do understand that. But overall, it's very easy to see how and why this film stayed in the minds and nightmares of so many children back in the day. Especially when the final line is something like this.
I'll be back.
Now, if that isn't a low-key threat to invade your dreams, I don't know what is. It's one of the most iconic British short films of all time, and no matter how many years we progress, you'll always have this film and this spirit to remind us of one key factor aside from staying away from the water.
I'll be back.
And with that concludes this installment of Video Scaries. I hope you enjoyed basking in the nostalgic clips that once upon a time made us cower or shriek with terror. And what to take away from today? I think it's the following.
Only a fool would ignore this. But there's one born every minute.
Thank you for watching. We hope you like, subscribe and share the video around, and we hope to see you next time. If you dare.
Unfortunately, the first natural-born smoker hasn't yet been born.